Welcome back to another episode of the podcast presented by Simple Math Matrix. It's your boy, Mr. aka Super Raw 357, best known as Prince Godbody. And sadly, this week I'm here by myself due to some unforeseen circumstances. Your boy Hoopla could not be with us, and King Brahman could not be as well. But I'm holding down the fort for the boys this week. I'm not going to talk y'all ear off for that long. Just give me about 15, 20 minutes of your time. If that, there's just some shit that's been happening in the news as usual that I wanted to talk about this week. And I wanted to start with Fetty Wap's arrest at Rolling Loud over, I guess, the weekend. If you haven't heard, Fetty Wap was one of many people arrested, essentially in a sting operation for bringing multiple narcotics from LA to New York or New Jersey, Long Island via postal service. This was hundreds of kilograms of things like fentanyl, heroin, regular weed, shit like that, just an array of drugs. But that's not really the focus I want to hone in on. Really, what I want to talk about, or what I have to say about this, is when we talked about this 2 weeks ago, we were saying that there are very few rappers nowadays being caught up for things that won't get you essentially a life sentence. Fetty Wap he hasn't been totally off of the radar as far as rap, excuse me, rap or just music is concerned. He hasn't been off the radar, but for a minute he has been. And by being off the radar, he's had to been doing something, whether it is creating more music or it's doing extracurricular activities, we'll put it that way. Whether it's doing more music or doing extracurricular activities, Fetty Wap has been active in some sense. And with saying that, that just goes to show that these feds are not playing. They don't care if you're still the number one artist in the game. Once they have a lead on you, they're going to chase it. The feds, not even the feds, anybody that cares about telling or snitching, anybody that has a goal for anything, it doesn't even have to be about telling or snitching. Anybody that has a goal is going to achieve that goal. And when your goal is to catch what the law determines as criminals, you're going to achieve that goal through any means necessary, no matter how long it takes you. And I feel like a lot of people don't recognize that, mainly because if you do it once and you get away with it, and you do it twice and you get away with it, and you do it 3 or 4 or 5 or however many times and you get away with it, why would you ever think you were going to get caught? You know what I'm saying? It's not this. The Fetty Wap situation is a mix of being in a place you shouldn't be when you're doing, if you are, let's say, doing something like that, you shouldn't be doing Rolling Loud. You can't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out with things like illegal activity and then legitimate entertainment business. It just doesn't mix, and it will never mix, mainly because when you start to become a big artist or big to a certain level, the entities that you're kind of working with, like the people at Rolling Loud, don't have the time and place to lose money over 1 or 2 artists. It's just they spend too much money for it to flop over 1 or 2 artists and some bullshit happening where the feds have to shut down all that shit. So what they'll do is just cooperate with the feds. You know what I'm saying? If the feds come to them like, hey, we don't want these guys doing Rolling Loud, or we don't want, or better yet, can you hold these guys until we get them backstage type thing. That almost definitely happens. And the thing is, I don't think that anybody that's like I said, doing these things is considering that. And that's really where the fall through is coming to. Because Fetty Wap isn't the first one. He's not the last one. Because like I said, or we said on the podcast 2 or 3 weeks before, everybody's that's getting caught nowadays is getting caught on major charges. It's not petty charges. They're not small things that you get out overnight for. These are things that they're trying to hem up your whole life for and stop you from feeding your family with, essentially. Hell, they, like, hell, they tried to get the baby out of here just for, saying some shit on stage, Jake. It's not a game where you can do whatever you want and be good. Very few people have the leverage to kind of just go all out and still be saved. And the Young Boy's one of those people. That's why Young Boy's out of jail. Young Boy makes so much money for that label that there's no way that he's staying in jail. He's the biggest streaming artist, right? You know what I'm saying? Why even think about keeping him locked up? You know what I'm saying? Like, people just have to really appreciate their privilege, I guess is really the best way to put it. Like, even though you may not be exactly where you want to be, as far as finances or maybe even popularity, whatever goes, but when you're in a position where you've made millions of dollars, you could probably make $1,000,000. You've made millions of dollars before, you can probably make millions of dollars again. So bank on that, and it'll come through. 9 times out of 10, I feel like for most people, that will come through, and that's really all I got to say about that situation. Hove, Jay-Z was over the weekend inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is shit. Having Hove in the Hall of Fame, it doesn't cement it because his legacy is already cemented. Saying that Hove being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame cements his legacy is a lie. His legacy has been cemented way before that. But this brings him to the point where you have to call him a legitimate musician, no matter who you are or how you feel about hip hop music. With Jay-Z being inducted into the Hall of Fame, hip hop on the modern level, not as an art form in its genesis or anything like that, but hip hop in a modern form is now appreciated and recognized. You, at this point, if Jay-Z's made it, we know Kendrick's going to make it. Jay-Z made the Songwriter Hall of Fame. I feel like Kendrick will make it as soon as he stops. The day he says he's retired, they'll get his plaque ready. But as far as Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and modern post 1995, I would say, rap music is concerned, Jay-Z has now paved the way for those guys to definitely be there no matter what. Like, there won't be an argument for Wayne. There won't be an argument, I mean, Drake, there won't be an argument no matter what. But there won't be an argument for guys like Wayne and when UGK gets it and 3 6 Mafia, things like that. It's seeing Hove get up there and win this award and then shout out everybody that contributed to him winning the award, or not the award rather, but being inducted into the Hall of Fame was beautiful. Because if anything Jay-Z has ever taught the hip-hop community is that beef is temporary. Probably has to do with a lot with him seeing and losing big to some pretty bullshit petty beef. But even him squashing it with Nas and the way he went up there and acknowledged Dame Dash and how much Dame Dash really did help his career was beautiful to see. Because again and again, as much shit as people do like to try to shoot at Jay-Z sometimes, I mean, not everybody's perfect or whatever, but you know what I'm saying, Jay-Z has only ever really, as an adult, only has tried to set good examples for the people that look up to him. And that's one thing I can say I applaud Jay-Z for through and through, is that no matter what he does, he's trying to set a good example for the people that look up to him. And like they say, each one teach one, and that's really how it should be with the community just in general. But a lot of times it isn't, especially being in a community where it's not really necessarily as established. A lot of people are still fighting for that legendary status. Like Jay-Z is one of the very few people who is a rapper and really got his legend stamp before the age of 50. Like a lot of motherfuckers don't respect you until your hair start to gray. So, give it up for Jay-Z for real, for real. Like I can't hate on the man at all. I never have. I'm a huge Jay-Z fan though, so at the same time, I guess this is me just caping for the man. But I big up the dude every day. Not every fucking day. That's wild and that's corny. But as far as like when it comes to his accomplishments, I can't disrespect the man. Another thing that scrolled across my timeline that I wanted to talk about was seeing Ice Cube walk off a set of a movie where he would have earned $9 million because he did not want to get vaccinated. And that would shock me, but I'm almost sure, almost 100% sure that Ice Cube has $9 million, almost probably $9 million to throw away, especially if he is, has the whole big three thing going with the basketball league. That doesn't shock me. He's standing up for what he believes in. It's a Kyrie thing, but it didn't make as big news because Ice Cube in a movie is not necessarily as impactful as Kyrie on a basketball court. But I did just want to bring that up and bring light to that because I did find that kind of funny that they almost try to make a big deal of it, like $9 million was actually something to Ice Cube. Like, come the fuck on, it's Ice Cube. We know what kind of money he got. Speaking of knowing what kind of money somebody has, Elon Musk has essentially struck again. He jokingly, or maybe not so jokingly, knowing Elon Musk, said that he was thinking about opening the Texas Institute of Technology and Sciences, which, if you can do that acronym real quick, spells out TITS, which is absolutely hilarious, mainly because this is the richest man in the world with some of the best ideas in the world, making jokes that a 13-year-old boy might find funny. It just goes to show you that you don't have to have common sense to be the most brilliant person, and you don't have to have the most book smarts to be the most brilliant person. Brilliance works two ways, and Elon Musk definitely is a giant showcase of that. But as much as people want to talk shit on Elon Musk, he at the same time did volunteer to donate $6 billion to end world hunger if the United Nations could show where the money was going to. And I feel him because a lot of people who want to give to poverty or think they want to give to want to give to charity or think they want to give to charity, they don't want to, and so they hide under the thing of, well, I don't really know where the money is going. Which, I mean, shit, you barely really know where your money is going after it goes in that fucking till anyway, so it doesn't matter. But a lot of people say, I don't know where the money is going, and I feel them on that. So to come at Elon Musk, basically, and say, why don't you just give the $6 billion? Think about yourself. Would you just give the $6 billion just not knowing where it's going? And the thing about it, even more so, is that the United Nations has the ability to track where their funds go, almost probably definitely easily. Like, that can't be a problem for them. And for him to make that large of a gesture of a donation, and for them to not immediately jump on it, with the only clause essentially being that he needs a paper trail, is kind of mind-blowing to me. Mainly because you would think that a group called the United Nations would be, the first priority would be uniting the nations. And one of the first parts of United Nations is probably, making sure everybody's fed and all that jazz. But what do I know? I'm just a guy behind a microphone in front of a camera and, all that good shit. But, for what it's worth, if and when Elon Musk takes over the world, at least he'll probably try to be nice about it, I guess. I guess that's the best we could hope for. And honestly, honestly, in today's world, can we really even hope for more? I mean, we done seen some fucked up shit going on in this world recently, so I can't even say that I'm even that surprised for real. For real, this is a weird world we're living in. We got an evil genius on our hands with that one. Let's see. Sorry, guys, this is a solo pod. Kind of takes me scrolling through my own notes by myself and shit, and that can be kind of hard. Don't really have much left to go, so sorry if you're suffering. You won't have to suffer much longer. Hitboy, Big Sean EP. I was, as a Big Sean fan rather, I was totally disappointed, mainly because we got some really fucking amazing Hitboy beats on this 6-song EP, which Big Sean just still says is kind of a teaser, warm up for the album. But we got some really fucking good Hitboy beats on this album. And then Sean kind of just gave us rather, like mediocre rhymes. Because in my opinion, honestly, Big Sean is not a bad rapper, but Big Sean also kind of raps like he just thinks of all the best Instagram captions he can think of and puts them together into bars. But at the same time, Big Sean also reminds me of like the best rapper in your high school. But he was never going to be like the best rapper in the town or like the best rapper ever necessarily. He was just the best rapper in the high school at that period, or maybe even that lunch period. Like maybe he just had a dope verse that day. And that's kind of how I feel about Big Sean. Because honestly, this EP was damn near a waste of time. I didn't really walk away with anything thinking like, yeah, I'm really hyped to hear more Big Sean. I can't wait for the album. None of that. It was just like, it didn't even come and go. I kind of played it, and I acknowledge I played it, but that was about it. I mean, I would love to hear other people's opinions on it, but as somebody who, in high school, like early days of high school, I was a huge Big Sean fan. But I can't say that with this one, I was impressed, like, whatsoever. Like I said, it was a miss for me. It was a miss, like, completely for me. Wrapping up. Sorry, guys. Henry Ruggs earlier today, Tuesday morning, was charged with a DUI in a crash that resulted in the death of, I think, at least one person. Man, I think this is going to be interesting to see, because it happened, I think, in Vegas. And we've seen celebrities be in this situation before. Caitlyn Jenner and Brandy both have hit and killed civilians, and all they got charged with were DUIs, and nothing really came of it. As you can tell, kind of things have been going on as usual with their lives. I wonder if Henry Ruggs being a black male, maybe it will affect this. Either way, rest in peace to the victims' families, and he's dead wrong for getting beyond the will under the influence. That's something I can't condone whatsoever. That's just, it's unfathomable that you would have that much money and just wouldn't call Uber. To have millions and millions and millions of dollars, presumably, or even maybe not millions of dollars, but to have hundreds of thousands of dollars and not having the wherewithal, just the fucking mind space to call an Uber instead of driving yourself or driving with someone else that might have been intoxicated, just blows my mind. And whatever he gets beyond the DUI charge, I feel like he deserves, but no, I'm no judge, jury, nor executioner, so I'm not really going to say all that, but whatever he gets, he deserves, and he probably will get more. He'll probably get less than he honestly deserves, because that's how those things usually work most times. But rest in peace to that person, and prayers to their family. Last thing I wanted to get on this episode, as you all know, this last weekend was Halloween weekend, and with that said, I kind of, at the age I'm at, I don't really see as many, like, adults really dressing up and shit. It's mostly people's kids, but I did find it funny that, like, with the social climate we're in, that there were people dressing, or More specifically, with the social climate that we're in, there were black males dressing as white characters from either TV, film, movies, blah, 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 for Halloween. And sadly, he's not here right now, but our man King Hoopla was a part of that. And I gotta say, man, come on. What the fuck is wrong with you, man? So much culture. Got a head full of dreads. Could have been anybody with dreads. And this nigga took to be John Cena. I mean, I guess at the same time, it's really not a problem because John Cena's invisible, so you can't see him. So at the same time, nobody even knew it was Nate. They just thought it was some armbands and a t-shirt. So I'll give him that at the same time. But otherwise, gotta say, man, motherfuckers dressing as white characters, not even the black version of white characters. I mean, no, but I guess that's wild on my part. I just think that's funny. Think that's hilarious. Signing off for the week, it's your boy, Mr. aka Super Raw 357, best known as Prince Godbody, and regards from King Hoopla and King Brumman. I'm signing out for the week, and peace. Thank you.